We're on SAT Practice Test 8, Math, Section 1, Question 8. What's the level of difficulty here? It's medium. It's the first medium in the first section. You've got this equation. What is one of the solutions to the given equation? Guys, this problem is a plug in the answer choices problem. How do I know that? It's because I've got either a story problem or just an equation, and Evil Testing Service is asking me straight up for the solution, and the answer choices are the only thing that I need. So I'm just going to go in, I'm going to write ABCD, and I'm just going to plug in one of the answers and see what works. Which answer choice should I start with? Well, I'm lazy, and I encourage you to be lazy too. What's the easiest answer choice here? I would say it's B, 0. So I'm just going to say x equals 0. I'm going to see what happens. So that would be 3 times 0, which is 0, times 0 minus 4 times 0 plus 5. That's going to be 0, right? Because 0 times anything, no matter what all this stuff is 0. So B works. Guys, that's it. That's the answer. When you plug in the answer choices and you find what you need, you get it, you move on. But let's try all the other ones. I know, you're a skeptic. So if we try answer choice A, that's x equals negative 4. 3 times negative 4, that's negative 12. Times negative 4 minus 4, that's negative 8. Times negative 4 plus 5, that's 1. That ain't going to be 0. So that's gone. Let's try answer choice C, 3. I'm going to do that over here. X equals 3. It's going to be 3 times 3, which is 9, times 3 minus 4, that's negative 1, times 3 plus 5, that's 8. Is that going to be 0? Nope, it's not. And then D says x equals 5. Okay, so 3 times 5 is 15, times 5 minus 4 is 1, times 5 plus 5 is 10. That ain't going to be 0 either. All the work that we just did, we did not need to do. As soon as we find the answer, when we plug in the answer choices, we didn't make anything up. We know we're right. We can get this problem very quickly and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 8, Math Section 1, Question 10. Level of difficulty here is medium. So on medium questions, you got to slow down just a little bit. You're not on easy questions anymore, but you can move pretty fast and you can get every single one of these right. A distance of 354 furlongs is equivalent to how many feet? 1 furlong is 220 yards. 1 yard is 3 feet. Alright guys, this is a proportion. Evil Testing Service writers love proportions. They're always the same. In a proportion, the stuff on top stays on top in both fractions. There's an equal sign between. And the stuff on top has to be exactly the same. The stuff on bottom has to be exactly the same. So what's the proportion? Start small. Start with small units. Don't start big. 1 yard to 3 feet. There's your proportion. Stuff on top is yards. Stuff on bottom is feet. So on the right side, you're going to have a fraction. What goes on top? Yards. 220 yards. What goes on bottom? Feet. Don't know how many feet. But I'm about to find out, so I can just cross multiply. 220 times 3, that's 660 equals x. And what is it? It's feet. So 660 feet is 220 yards, and that's also 1 furlong. How many furlongs do I want? I want 354 furlongs. So I got to multiply that times 660. Guys, you can stop right here. Be confident. Look at these answer choices. It's going to be some ginormous number. It's going to be D. But if you want to use your calculator, go ahead. Sure enough, 354 times 660 is 233,640. Answer's D. Get it right. Move on along. We're on SAT Practice Test 8, Math Section 1, Question 11. What's the level of difficulty here? It's medium. You got two equations, and how many points do the graphs of the given equations intersect in the xy plane? This is simultaneous equations. How do I know that? Because I got two equations. Anytime you see simultaneous equations, you're going to stack them, and you're going to add them or subtract them. So you want to rewrite them nice and stacked the way they are in the problem. You should be able to see pretty easily that if you subtract, you can make the y's go away. You get a big 0 here. And what happens to the x's? 2x minus 2x. Hey, that's a big 0 too. Well, I got no letters anymore. It doesn't particularly matter what this is over here. It's plus 11, but so what? What's going on? I lost all my letters. So how many points do the graphs intersect here, do you think? Nothing's going on. It's 0. There's no solutions here because all the letters dropped out. Pretty easy. Get it right and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 8, Math Section 1, Question 12. What's the level of difficulty here? It's medium. This problem is insanely gettable and easy if you do it the way I'm going to show you. 13 is p% of 25. What's the value of p? So I'll write down what I'm looking for. P. I'm going to circle it. How do you say what in math? You say x. Yeah, I don't know. In this case, we're going to say p. How do you say is in math? You say equals. How do you say of in math? You say times. In SAT land math, how should you say percent? You should say percent. You should make it a fraction over 100. If you do it this way, it's a straight, easy translation. 13 is p percent of 25. I have some fractions and some non-fractions. I'm going to make everything a fraction so I can see if I can reduce and cross multiply. 25p over 100. At this point, you could just use your calculator. I'm going to take one more step and reduce. I'm going to divide by 25 here and get 1. I'm going to divide by 25 here and get 4. And now I just got a nice clean cross multiplication. Boom, boom. P equals 13 times 4. Do not be ashamed to use your calculator. It's 52. And that's the answer. You get this question right very easily, and you move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 8, Math Section 1, Question 13. Level of difficulty here is medium. It's the last medium question in Section 1. It's a plug-in. There's no choice but to plug in on this problem. The function f of t equals 60,000 times 2 to the t over 410 gives the number of bacteria in a population t minutes after an initial observation. How much time in minutes does it take for the number of bacteria in the population to double? So write down what you're looking for. It doesn't have to be elegant or fancy. It just helps to know exactly what you want on these slightly complex questions. It's a function. SAT functions love 0 and 1. So if you're not sure what to do on a function, try plugging in 0 or 1. Write down the function. What is t? ETS tells you that t is minutes. Let's just try plugging in 0 here. So it's 60,000 times 2 to the 0 over 410. If t equals 0, what is 0 over 410? It's 0. So it's 2 to the 0. And what's 2 to the 0? What's anything to the 0? It's 1. So all of this is just 60,000 times 1, and you end up with 60,000. 60,000 what? 60,000 bacteria. What is 0 minutes? 0 minutes is when you start. That's the initial observation. So at the initial observation, you have 60,000 bacteria. What are you trying to get to? You're trying to get to 120,000 bacteria because you're trying to get it to double. All right, let's just run the function again. I'll do it over here, kind of running out of space. 60,000 times 2 to the t over 410. I want it to be 120,000. Just think about it. What's 60,000 times 2? That's 120,000, right? So what do I want t over 410 to be? Well, I obviously want it to be 1, because I want it to be 120,000 equals 120,000. So I guess you could do some fancy algebra here, but guys, think about it. If t over 410 is 1, what's t going to have to be? It's going to have to be 410. And that's it. That's the answer. You get it right, and now you move on to some fun hard questions. We're on SAT Practice Test 8, Math Section 2, Question 3. What's the level of difficulty here? It's medium. The mediums start pretty fast on Section 2. If the graph of 27x plus 33y equals 297 is shifted down 5 units in the xy plane, what is the y-intercept of the resulting graph? So write down what you want. Y-intercept. Anytime I see y-intercept in SAT land, I always write down y-intercept equals x equals 0. Do I really write that down? Yes, I do. You're going to start by writing the equation. This is a line equation. In SAT land, line equations have to look exactly like y equals mx plus b. Does this equation look exactly like y equals mx plus b? It doesn't. The y is in the right place. The x part, we need to move it across the equal sign, so it's going to become negative. And then the b part is fine. Now this is the most important part. Y has to be naked and alone in SAT land. Is this y naked and alone? It's not, because it's attached to 33. So we have to divide every term here, all three of them, by 33, because we have to get y by itself. Now we have y equals, this part doesn't matter, but some people can't help themselves. And this is calculator math. 297 divided by 33. 9. Now you've got y equals mx plus b. What's the y-intercept in this equation? It's 9. And that means that this line, whatever it looks like, crosses the y-axis at 9. If you're going to move it down 5, well, you're going to move it down. So when you go down 5, what's it going to be? It's going to be 4. So I said y-intercept x equals 0. And we know that the y-intercept is 4. So it's 0, 4. That's our answer. It's A. We get it right. And we move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 8, Math Section 2. Welcome to Question 4. What's the level of difficulty here? Medium. The function f is defined by f of x equals 1/10 x minus 2. What's the y-intercept of the graph of y equals f of x in the xy plane? So write down what you're looking for. Y-intercept. Circle it. Whenever I'm looking for y-intercept, I always write down y-intercept equals x equals 0. Do I really write that down? Yes, I do. If that's all you know, let's just pretend. All you know is that x has got to be 0 here. Look at these answer choices. This is x, this is y. A does not have x as 0. D does not have x as 0. So that's kind of cool, 50-50 shot, but let's really do it. Y equals f of x. That means that y equals this thing. So y equals 1/10 x minus 2. Hey, does this look familiar at all to you? Does this kind of look like something you've seen 8 million times? Y equals mx plus b. Where's the y-intercept here? It's b, so it's minus 2. So the y-intercept is minus 2. So that means that y is minus 2. Which answer choice says that? B. And that's it. You get this right real quick, and you move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 8, Math Section 2. Welcome to question 5. What's the level of difficulty here? It's medium. Got a graph. The graph shows the relationship between the number of shares of stock from company A, X, and the number of shares of stock from company B, Y, that Simone can purchase. Which equation could represent this relationship? All right, this is an elaborate version of can you read a graph? And this particular question comes up somewhat frequently on SATs. When you know how to do it, it's really easy. What you're going to want to do is go to the ends of the line. Doesn't matter which end. If you go to this end, what's X and what's Y? X is 60 and Y is 0. If you were to go to this end, what's X and what's Y? X is 0 and Y is 40. You don't have to write down both ends. I'm just going to choose this end. I'm going to write down A, B, C, D vertically. When I go to the answer choices, every time I see an X, I'm going to put a 0. And every time I see a Y, I'm going to put a 40. Answer choice A, Y. So 40 equals 8 times X, 8 times 0. 0 plus 12. Is that true? It's not. So A is gone. B says 8X, so 0. Plus 12 times Y, 12 times 40, that's 480, equals 480. Hey man, that's true. Got yourself a bingo. So that's probably the right answer. Try the other two. Y is 40 equals 12 times X, 12 times 0, 0 plus 8. Nope. And then 12 times X, that's 0, plus 8 times Y, 8 times 40, 320. That does not equal 480. So, answer's got to be B. You can get this question really quickly. If you know how to do it this way, you get it right, and you move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 8, Math Section 2. Welcome to question 6. What's the level of difficulty? Medium. The solution to the given system of equations is xy. What's the value of 17 over 2x plus 18y? So let's write down what we want. This problem's simultaneous equations. How do we know? Because we got two equations. Anytime you have simultaneous equations, it's always the same. You're going to stack them, and then you're going to add or subtract whatever makes more sense. So stack them up nice. Underline it. Your inclination here might be to get rid of these fractions. Not a bad inclination, but the bottoms are the same, so it's going to be easy. What should you do? Add or subtract? If you subtract, the 6y's go away. 7 over 2 minus 5 over 2, that's just 2 over 2, which is 1. So 1x equals 25 minus 23, 2. X is 2. So just plug it into one of these equations. I'll do the first one. 7 over 2 times 2, I'm going to put that over 1 so I can see that I can reduce. 7 plus 6y equals 25. Very simple equation. 7 goes over here, 6y is 18. Divide both sides by 6. Y equals 3. So now you know that x is 2 and y is 3. You're just going to plug it into the equation that ETS asks for. Again, you want to reduce. So it's 17 plus 18 times 3. Put that in your calculator. It's 54. Put this thing in your calculator. 17 plus 54 is 71. And so the answer is D. Takes some work, but it is not hard. Get it right and move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 8, Math Section 2. Welcome to question 7. Level of difficulty, it's medium. The function f is given. There it is. Which table of values represents y equals f of x minus 3? So the way to do this is you're going to say y equals the function. and then you're going to subtract 3. There's the function, minus 3. This is a classic plug in the answers problem. We're just going to go down to the answer choices. We're going to plug in the x's and y's. We're going to see what works. Answer choice A. Write down the x and y combo that you're dealing with right now. Don't confuse the x's and the y's. So here, we got y is -9, x is -6. Every time we see a y, we're going to put in -9. Every time we see an x, we're going to put in -6. There's a y, so it's -9, equals, there's an x, so it's -6. -6 plus 6, what is that? That's 0. Times -6 plus 5, that's -1. Times -6 minus 4, what's that? -10. Minus 3. Okay, what is all of this? It's just 0. 0 times anything is 0. So it's 0 minus 3, which is -3. Does -9 equal -3? Doesn't. So A is gone because we found something that didn't work. Now we move on to B. Again, write down your x's and y's so you don't get them confused. The first one is -6 and -3. You don't need to write down the whole chart. So what's y? It's -3 equals, you just did this one, 0, -6 plus 6, -6 plus 5 is -1, -6 minus 4 is -10, minus 3. We just did this. We know that when we multiply all this together, we're going to get 0 minus 3. Does -3 equal -3? It does. So we got ourselves a bingo. So we get to keep going. Next set is -5 and -3. I want you to notice how these are all -3, and I want you to look for a pattern here. So y is -3. This time x is -5, so it's -5 plus 6, which is what? 1. Here's the pattern. -5 plus 5, what's that? 0. And then -5 minus 4 is -9, minus 3. So we've been doing this. All of this is what? 0. 0 minus 3. -3 equals -3. It does. Now let's use the pattern here. Can you see it? This is 4 and -3. So y is -3. Put this 4 in, just kind of in your head up here. Is anything going to be a 0? 4 minus 4 is 0. That's the last one. So 0 times anything is 0. So it doesn't matter what's here. It doesn't matter what's here, because 0 times these things is all going to be just 0. So it's 0 minus 3. Does -3 equal -3? It still does. So all three of the things in answer choice B worked. B is the answer. We don't need to try C or D. We're done. We get it right, and we move on. We're on SAT Practice Test 8, Math Section 2. Welcome to Question 8. What's the level of difficulty here? It's medium. This is really the last medium question on this Section 2 of this SAT, so enjoy it. For the function q, the value of q of x decreases by 45% for every increase in the value of x by 1. If q of 0 equals 14, which equation defines q? There's really two steps to this problem, and the easiest way to do it is to go through each step individually. Write down A, B, C, D, and the first step is just to see if you get q of 0 equals 14 for these answer choices. So I'm going to do A. Q of x. Well, this says q of 0, right? Doing a function is just following directions. Equals 0.55 times 14, and then follow the directions. Every time you see an x, you're going to put in a 0. Well, anything to the 0 power is 1. So this is 0.55 times 1. You're supposed to get 14. Do you get 14? No. You get 0.55. So that didn't even work there. Let's try B. I'm going to do q of 0. I want to get to 14. So 1.45 times 14 to the what? Just follow directions to the 0. So that's 1.45 times anything to the 0 power is 1. So times 1. That's just 1.45. I was supposed to get 14. Didn't get it. So B's gone. All right, I'm going to do C down here. I'm going to do q of 0. So that's 14 times 0.55 to the 0. That's 14 times anything to the 0 is 1. So I got 14. Okay, cool. I bet I'm going to get 14 for D, because this would be too easy otherwise. Q of 0 equals 14 times 1.45 to the 0 times 1. So I'm going to get 14. Right. So the only answer choices I have to deal with are C and D when I do the next step. What's the next step? It says Q of x decreases by 45% when I increase x by 1. Well, Q of 0, what do you think increasing x by 1 is? I'm going to do Q of 1. And I'm just going to repeat it for C. So what is it? 14 times 0.55 to the what? Follow the directions. 1. So that's 14 times 0.55. Use your calculator. You get 7.7. Now what's supposed to happen here? You're supposed to decrease by 45%. You do not need to calculate this. If you decreased 14 by 50%, you get 7, right? We got 7.7. And that's about 45%. So that's looking good. Let's try D. Q of what? 1, because we're increasing x by 1. We increased 0 by 1. 14 times 1.45 to the, follow the directions, 1. Again, there's no need for calculation here. 14 times 1.45. Is that going to go up or down? It's going to go up. We're looking to go down 45%, so that doesn't work. So C's got to be the answer. You got to put your head down and do some work here, but you get it right, and you move on.